I'm Maddie, I'm your host, and this is That Girl Is Gone.
Artlist.io.
Back in 2021, I decided I was sick of being miserable. I was sick of watching everybody else go after their dreams while I sat in a stupid 9 to 5 that I didn't even like, that I felt was taking me nowhere, because it wasn't where I was supposed to be. I was sick of letting fear stop me from going after the things I want. I was ready to be something bigger because I knew I was meant to be something bigger, but I had just let fear hold me back for so long. And that's where this brand new chapter of my life began, where I started to cultivate optimism and unconditional love and seeing the bright side of everything. And I trained my brain how to do that, and it wasn't easy. And eventually in this podcast I'll get into how I did all that. But that chapter is kind of coming to an end, and a new chapter is beginning, and this podcast is kind of the bridge between the two. I've spent the last 2 years learning what it means to love and empower myself, and then learning how to actually go out into the world and do that, because knowing that you need to do that and even knowing how to do it is different than going out into the world and still continuing to do it. I'm saying goodbye to the version of myself that felt scared and helpless and powerless, and like her voice wasn't heard, and that there was no way she could change the things she wanted to change. I'm saying goodbye to that version of me. And I'm welcoming home the empowered version of myself that I spent so long feeling like I had to hide. I was afraid that if I took action on my dreams and failed, it would just solidify what I already knew, and the pain of that sounded unbearable to cope with. But if you know me, you know I have a really hard time not being myself. So actually trying to make my life some picture perfect, digestible thing was setting myself up for the thing that I was so afraid of, which was failure, because I failed miserably. But now I'm here, and I'm doing the things I dreamed of because I deserve to. And you do too, and that's really what this podcast is about. It's my journey of letting go of the version of me that was too scared to try and too scared to share myself, in hopes that it will empower you to do the same.
Are you ready, dear? Oh, we must be sure there's no turning back once we're out the door. Leave your message here on the telephone, 'cause we've no idea when we're coming home.
Okay, so I have no idea how to make a podcast. Literally, not a clue, but I want to talk to you guys. So I'm here trying to figure it out. But if the microphone sounds different, or I sound closer and further away and stuff, one, I'm just getting used to how to even do any of this. Two, I can't do anything in one single sitting or in one single take, which is something that I need to work on. So I keep starting and stopping and moving things and adjusting, and I'm just getting used to everything. And bear with me, we're learning, we're growing. So last night I had a little bit of creative spark, I guess. I was decluttering my house, and I found an old piece of writing that I found. I'll explain it all when we get into it, but just a little, synopsis, is that the right word, of what the episode will be about. I've been wanting to create a podcast for years, and last night I found a piece of paper of something I wrote God knows how long ago, and I read it, and it gave me the push that I needed for whatever reason to just do the damn thing. And so I started recording last night, and now it's the next day, and I'm also recording. And So yeah, you'll hear all about it as we get into it. I think the podcast kind of starts off in the middle of nowhere sounding, if I don't give you this little preface, because like I said, it was really on a whim last night. But yeah, here we go. Love you guys. Hope you enjoy. I finally got the motivation to start decluttering my house, and I started going through a box of, it's more like a little storage container. So I'm going through this storage container of things, and I find this folder. It's a folder of like all the stuff I've ever made. So like any like posters I've made, a lot of the writing I've done, anything I've ever drawn, all that kind of stuff. And there's this piece of paper. I'll read it to you in a moment. But after I read it, I was like, you know what? You have some damn good words to share with the world, and it's time to just share them. Because like I said, I don't know how to make a podcast. I don't know how to get a jingle, or if people make their own jingles, or if there's copyright laws around that. Do I have to buy one? How does any of that work? I have no idea. I have no idea about anything, except for the fact that I'm supposed to be here doing this, making a podcast. But I've spent so long letting the fear of judgment hold me back, and you know what? That girl is gone. I'm not settling out of fear anymore. I'm not saying no to things simply because I'm scared of what it will look like if I'm not good at it. That's like one of the biggest bullshit lies I ever let myself believe, that I had to be good at things to do them. Anyways, so this is the little piece of writing I found. I don't know the point of life or how it's all supposed to happen. I don't know how to find happiness and satisfaction, and I sure as hell don't know when it'll happen. But it's all about faith in something. We get stuck in our hurt, like the pain is never ending or impossible to get past, and we become frustrated with our mistakes because it's the reality that maybe we don't have it all figured out. At 18, we don't know how to see past yesterday's mishaps. We feel like we should be happy and careless, like problems aren't supposed to exist in our lives. But that isn't how life works. You will be torn to pieces to see what you're made of. Life will ache your bones and beat your heart. We have this distorted perception that some people know what they're doing and that some people don't hurt, so we worry about being okay and looking okay, and we make sure to never fall apart, and we never ask for help or explain how we feel because nobody gets it. No one feels the way I do. And in the end, we push people away so they can't see our scars. There is no crash course on how to fix life when it's falling apart. But you can't fold. This is life, and bad things happen. You're going to feel like you'll never get through it, but you do, if for no other reason, because you have to. The point is, it's all temporary. The way you feel, every broken heart, and even your happiness. You just have to have faith in that. Now, if I wrote that today, I don't think I would see it through the same lens. I'm going to throw in some words, or a word, I guess, from teacher training over the weekend. Shout out to any of my teacher trainer level 2 girls if you're listening. Love you guys. But yeah, I don't think I would have written that from the same perspective if I wrote it today or rewrote it. But I thought it was kind of neat to share from. I honestly don't know how old I was when I wrote that. I would assume I was probably around 18 or something. But finding it last night just kind of sparked something in me. You know, I've been holding on to all these words. They're just sitting here in my folders and in my notebooks and in my journals, and writing them has changed my life, like in ways that I can't even imagine. I guess I'm almost starting to feel guilty about holding onto them, but it's scary, you know, to share these things, and but I know it's time.
Music licensing reimagined.